Before we kick things off, I'd like to thank this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. They've got traditional and digital art, animation, web design, video editing, music, marketing. I'm barely scratching the surface here. I've had so many people hit me up on YouTube for pointers on editing or art, and you want an honest answer? Skillshare is the perfect starting point for all of that. But what if you're already seasoned in your preferred field? Here's a free lesson from me. You never stop learning. I promise you will discover something while participating in these classes. And also something that's super important for me. Skillshare is designed to keep you organized, keep you on path. It is designed to help a creative mind learn. And there is a lot to learn. These guys offer thousands of classes that include hands-on projects and a community of millions right there to offer you feedback. And the courses are catered to all sorts of schedules and skill levels. Don't have time for a 2-hour class? No problem. You can filter courses that are less than an hour long, or pick them back up if you have to leave halfway through it. And they'll cater to your interests depending on what courses you finish. And they're always offering new classes, and they do not waste your time. There are no ads. As for me, oh god, there's so much I want to learn, but I'm first going to start off honing passions I already have. So I picked up Mastering Illustration, Sketching, Inking, and Color Essentials, taught by Josiah Brooks. I've been using the same basic art for my channel for like 4 years now, and it's about time I step my game up and hone my illustration skills. And this course is already helping me just in terms of workflow and further defining my own style. And this is just a start for me. I'm so excited to see what else I get up to. If this all sounds good to you, then check it out for yourself. The first 1,000 viewers of my channel get their first month of Skillshare Premium completely free. That is an entire month. Even if you just use that, your skills will forever be improved. Why on earth would you pass on something like that? This is a limited time offer, and again, it's only for the first 1,000 people that sign up, so get on it. Links in the description below. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring, and let's get on with the video. Welcome back to Sonic Speed Reading, and buckle in, kids, because it's gonna get nuts. If this is your first time with us, welcome. Don't start here. This is the end of the Metal Virus saga. Well, the conclusion to the overall, it doesn't matter. Point is, do not start with this episode. We have a whole playlist. Go check that stuff out, or better yet, go check out the comics yourself. But for everybody else, welcome back. Let's stop wasting time. Let's get into it. Okay, so the face ship is now face to face with Angel Island. Zavok has found our heroes. We got Tails freaking out, and Eggman's like, yeah, obviously. Rouge, we're out of time. Whatever you plan on doing, do it. And on the ground level, behind the face ship, we see all of our characters that we've lost during this saga roaming up onto the island, falling behind Zavok's ship. So even from there, he's got total command of this zombot army, and he's got them converging on Angel Island. And let's take a moment to once again appreciate the fact that Zavok, one of the most joked about characters in the Sonic franchise, is just full on terrifying right now. And man, he's gonna go big and go hard, quite literally. Getting ahead of myself. I love this moment here where we see Zavok overlooking Angel Island. You gotta remember, he comes from Lost Hex. This is the first time he's seen this landmass, and he shows a bit of respect for it. He says it looks smaller than Lost Hex, but it's no less beautiful, and he cannot wait to bathe it in the Metal Virus. But something's gone awry with the ship. He turns around and sees Rouge just admiring the gray Chaos Emerald. She says, goodness, does this one emerald power this whole ship? She says that she wanted to pull this off a little bit more elegantly, but you do what you gotta do. And says, tuck and roll, boys. And we see Orbot and Cubot take the shape of an orb and a cube as they hop on off the face ship. The original plan was to grab both the Chaos Emeralds, but since that's not currently an option, the next best bet is just take down the entire face ship, and that's exactly what Rouge does. With one fell swoop, it goes crashing into the earth below. And our heroes look on. We have Eggman, who's just lamenting the fact that he's lost his best ship to date. At least that's what he says. And again, there's been a lot of zombots surrounding that spot right there, right below them. We have Sonic just going, ugh, glad the zombots can survive something like that. Yeesh. Rouge touches base with the rest of the team. Sonic asking, yeah, you knew the zombots could survive that, right? And Rouge, yeah, I actually believe her when she says that she did her research. You're welcome, by the way. Now, the plan from here is to just go through the rubble and pick up the last Chaos Emerald from Zavok once, the fires and everything calm down. Unfortunately, as Eggy points out, that's not going to be an option, as we see Zavok pull himself from the wreckage and uses his Chaos Emerald to just go kaiju size on us here. That's right, kids, we got Fury Zavok now, and he's now at eye level with Angel Island, just standing up, and he just shoots fire at the island itself, just rocking the entire thing. And Knuckles, Knuckles like, did you just spit on my island? Now everybody else has done their part. It's time for Sonic to get to work. They're out of options. He hands off the emerald to Silver, who holds up the other 6, and he gets his friends in gear, telling Tails and Rouge that he needs air support and tells Silver to tag along. But before they can do anything else, Zavok picks up a handful of zombots and just chucks them at Angel Island. Now, again, things have been a little inconsistent here because he just full-on grabbed zombots without showing any kind of infection. But I think that goes to show us subtly that the emeralds and their energy aren't affected by this plague. And that will be very important very soon. But right now, Zavok is just lobbing zombots onto Angel Island. The last place for Sonic and his team to recoup and recover is gone. And the heroes are now faced off against their turned zombified friends. So yeah, that's where issue 28 ends. That's the part I left off from last time. We're jumping straight into 29, and they start off basically just telling us what we just saw there. Gives us a little clarification. Turns out the Chaos Emerald has amplified Zavok's electromagnetic powers, so that helps him navigate the Zombot chucks straight to Sonic and his team. And they point out that there's literally nowhere else to run. Sonic's Zombot infection is no longer being pushed back by his speed. This is do or die. Knuckles is frustrated, telling Sonic that he always brings trouble to his island. And Sonic, as exhausted as he is, tries to reassure him, saying, yeah, things look bleak, but don't worry, I got a plan. Trust me. And this just goes to show how much these two have grown as friends over the years. I mean, I go back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where Knuckles just wanted to kill this guy. And now, this is Knuckles' best friend. And as furious as he is for Sonic bringing another problem to his island, he does trust him. Because the first thing he does is knock Zombot Shadow right in the face. And he tells Sonic, you better do what you gotta do or else I'm gonna haunt you. And yes, this is a desperate moment. And yes, this is Knuckles doing whatever he can to protect his home and the Master Emerald and the refugees. This shows you how much trust this guy has in Sonic. Even if he goes down, he trusts Sonic to take care of his home yet again. He trusts Sonic to take care of this world. And he tells him they're gonna hold off these zombots as best as they can. So get out there and save the day already. And Sonic wastes no time as him and Silver come rushing off. And as he zips by Metal, he tells him, yo dude, we're gonna need you too, come along. And Eggy gives him the go-ahead, saying that this is the only way to save him. Activate your defensive measures and just do what Sonic says. And we have Sonic being held up by Metal Sonic as him and Metal and Silver go leaping off of Angel Island to face off against Giant Zavok. And even at that size, he has his eyes dead set on the hedgehog, and he's just talking shit the whole time. This is your last show of resistance. This is all you can do. You may have destroyed my means of creating more metal virus, but I still command the zombots, and with them, I will infect everything. I will see your world grow sick and perish. And just lunges zombots at the trio. And we got Metal Sonic dipping and diving. He is really all that's keeping Sonic alive at this point. He tells Metal to head straight for the Chaos Emerald. That is all that matters. And Zavok is just blasting everything left and right. Shoots right at Metal and Sonic, and Metal puts up his Dark Shield, babe. Oh my god, yes! Yeah, even with Chaos Emerald powers, his stupid fireballs got nothing on that shield. And Sonic says, boy, I'm glad me and Tails didn't deactivate you when we had the chance. Which, we'll get to it. And Zavok reaches for the shielded hedgehogs, but is blocked off by Silver's psychokinesis. Sonic thanks him for the assist, but reminds him to keep a hold of the 6 emeralds. And Silver tells him, you focus on the one in Zavok's chest. Sonic then commands Metal, get him in close, but unfortunately Zavok just gusts a bunch of wind at them and sends him flying to the earth below. Sonic picks himself amongst the rubble and is actually with Orbot and Cubot. Good to see they survived their fall. And Orby just tells him, hey man, you're not looking good. You probably should start running. And Sonic tells him, and again the reader, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be working anymore. And Orbot says, no, you don't get me, man. I don't mean for yourself. I mean run away from them. As the zombots who were caught in that rubble begin to crawl up out of the ground, zombies, man, I love that imagery. And Sonic is just, he is worn down, dude. He is exhausted. There's not much left he can do. And he says, if I could just get enough speed, I can run up to the emerald. But yeah, man, he's not looking good, and his friends aren't looking good either. We got Tails trying to shake off the 2 Chow. We got Knuckles, who's getting more and more infected, fighting off Zombot Shadow. We got Whisper crying, her gun shaking in her hand, pointing it directly at the zombified Tangle. We got Espio dodging the other 2 of the detective agency, and we have Eggman crawling away in fear from a zombified Big the Cat. But he's saved at the last second by Amy, who takes a hammer to Big's chest. And she says, oh man, that didn't do anything. And Eggman, the piece of garbage he is, boots Amy into Big, getting her infected, saying, on the contrary, you actually slowed him down for me. And he takes off towards their own shuttle to save himself. But then he slips on the Zombot Froggy. Who leaps up into the air, and that is what takes Eggman out. That silly little frog. And Knuckles, our boy, goes down like a champ, fighting till the last against Zombot Shadow, just pummeling him into his precious island below. But unfortunately, that can only go for so long as Knuckles is turned. And we see Tails in everybody's favorite position, holding his head in the fetal position, begging for Sonic's help. But unlike Sonic Forces, this is actually earned. Tails has been fighting to the last this entire time, and we see that the Chow have grabbed onto his tails. He is infected. He is being turned. There is nothing left for him to do. All that's left is in the hands of Sonic. And I'm sorry, I know you guys get upset when you see Tails cowering and in fear, but he's still a kid, and eventually that bravery is going to wane, and at least we can justify this. Unlike being a coward in front of Chaos Zero out of nowhere like a punk bitch. But yes, this is here to show us that things are not going good for our heroes. Everybody's been infected. And Sonic, out of energy, looks like he is about to go down, as well as he is swarmed by zombots. But then is saved by Metal Sonic! Are you kidding? Yes! Oh my god, dude. This team up. Holy cow. Metal comes in, saves the day, and gets Sonic back up into the fight. Zavok again turns his attention to Sonic and reminds him machines are his to control and sends Metal flying. Sonic drops onto Zavok himself and blasts his way over to the Chaos Emerald, cutting it loose and throwing it into the air to Silver as his last bit of consciousness begins to fade as the metal virus finally takes over his body. But in that last sliver, all 7 Chaos Emeralds are combined. Not only do we get Super Sonic, we get Super Silver! Boosh! And after all of this time, we see the metal virus once and for all flake away off of Sonic's body. He is finally cured, and now it's time to save the world. But before he does, Zavok comes in with the fist, saying, with the last of my strength, I will crush you. But Super Sonic is having none of it, and with half a panel, just beats his ass, and just just takes him down. Half of a page. That is it for Zavok. Scott is dead. Get your Nick Jr. designed ass out of here, you Bowser wannabe piece of garbage. You're out. And Silver says that was a little anticlimactic, but Sonic points out, yo, dog, we don't have time. They got the Chaos Emeralds, and the Warp Topaz is not reacting great to all of this energy. So they gotta do what they gotta do. And with Silver's now amped up abilities, the Warp Topaz, and the purifying energy of the Chaos Emeralds, they begin to cure the world. And one by one, we see our characters celebrate and reunite. Tears of joy streaming down their faces, Whisper finally embracing her best friend again, Team Chaotix finally together, chanting along their dope-ass theme song, Froggy sitting on top of an embarrassed Eggman, Knuckles and Shadow very confused to see each other, pissed off at Rouge, who just... who's not been helping. Look, she took down the phase ship, all right? Like, if she's gonna go down, she's gonna hang out with the Master Emerald. I love her. She's the best. We even see Scruffy return to normal. We see Vanilla back in action, and we see Cream reunited with her mother, because General's been with her this entire time and brought her back the moment it was safe. Man, happy endings all around. But we then turn our attention back to Sonic and Silver. They've been flying around the world, absorbing all of the metal virus. And Sonic is going to send it into the sun through the warp portal, where it can never do damage to anyone ever again. But the warp topaz is becoming unstable, so they gotta kick it into high gear. And we do just that. And as Silver finally confirms that the metal virus is once and for all destroyed, the warp topaz has hit its breaking point and lets off a blinding explosion in the sky and sends Silver rocketing back down to Angel Island. Tails, Knuckles, and Amy go to his location, asking if he's okay, asking what happened. And he confirms that the metal virus has been removed. It has been destroyed. The nightmare is finally over. But unfortunately, Sonic tried to ditch the Warp Topaz into the Super Warp Portal, but ended up going along with it. So yes, we are finally free of the metal virus, but it looks like it's come at a hefty cost. But how hefty is it gonna be? I mean, this book's titled Sonic the Hedgehog, and we've seen this particular thing happen a couple times. We'll find out next time. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna do one more episode about the metal virus. But man, what a wild ride that one issue and a couple pages was. So I hope you understand why I left it to one episode as opposed to just cramming it into the last one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you to all the patron supporters who've been following along for this wild ride with me and beginning this show early. So, hey, hope you've been enjoying that. But yeah, let's just cut it here. I'm gonna get straight to work on the final thing, and then we'll go from there. Maybe we'll take a break from IDW. Maybe we'll cover a different Sonic comic. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna tell you what, my patrons will definitely figure that out for me. So I'll let you know how all of that goes next week. But until then, toot toot, Super Sonic Warriors.